This is video 90 on a MicroPython LVGL embedded solution. Well, we found this product, upyOS, that gives us a POSIX-like, really a Linux-like OS environment for microcontrollers like ESP32 and the Raspberry Pi. Let's take a look at it. The best aspect of MicroPython is that it is interactive, but the REPL is a bit underwhelming. In this video, we look at a possible replacement. upyOS resides as a thin layer of files on the flash of a microcontroller, but gives us a welcome Linux-like control of our microcontroller device. For our test rig today, we take full advantage of the memory and flash resources on our ESP32S3 connected to an ILI9341 LCD display. As this channel covers multiple small system solutions over time, please subscribe to stay informed and click like, as that really helps. You get a unique Linux-like experience with 60 plus commands and full Wi-Fi communication with 3 services: Telnet, FTP, and HTTP. The upyOS software is developed and maintained by RBenX and his team. Their software follows the MIT license. We wired the ILI9341 display using these ESP32 device pins. At our GitHub for ESP32LVGL, we used our most recent ESP32S3 firmware, which has LVGL 9.5. From the video 90 directory, we gather several test files which we copied to the home directory. On our Raspberry Pi, we set up a virtual environment where we pip installed MP Remote. We found a Linux-like environment works best with this software. The GitHub site has a README with instructions and examples. We followed their suggested deployment using the MP Remote command. Then we used the MP Remote command to create a home directory and copy our test files to it. The program file main.py captures a serial port when you press the Ctrl D to reboot the microcontroller. So if you need the REPL, you can enter the command exit and you're back to the REPL prompt. Finally, you can press Ctrl X whenever you're ready to return to your host. You can now start using the Linux-like commands. However, there are some configuration steps you will want to do. First, enter the set auth command for user admin and a password entered twice. Your password is encrypted and saved. All 3 Wi-Fi services use this for credentials. You can now enter the various Wi-Fi commands as discussed in the instructions from RBenX, but we created the script file mywifi.sh to do these for you. So in step 2, edit the file secret.sh and put in your SSID and its password. And remember, this file is just plain text. Thirdly, edit the system config file and change the -4 to your time zone value. Finally, edit the file default.board, which describes the ESP32S3 board with your particular board's pin layout. You can now run the myWiFi script. This will select your SSID and connect. It will give you an IP address, then it will connect to a regional NTP server and get the current date time. By the way, if you forget the IP address, you can enter the familiar ifconfig command and it'll display it. There are more than 60 Linux-like commands you can enter at the prompt. You can see the list by looking in the bin directory. As mentioned earlier, there are 3 services: Telnet, FTP, and HTTP. We did not try Telnet, but we did try the FTP and HTTP services, and they work well. They all use the admin user and its password you entered earlier. As we mentioned earlier, there is a shell script language. The My Wi-Fi program is written in shell script. The upyOS website gives other examples of shell script routines. The HTTP service hosts an interesting website. It contains a status dashboard, a GPIO screen, a file manager with a GUI editor, and a terminal client. So you have true remote access to your device. For your MicroPython programs, the ps command allows you to see running programs. The kill command allows you to kill any process. We found this capability to be very helpful for our LVGL programs. By running a program on a new thread, we can kill it and run another without needing to reset the device, as we've done in the past. Let's take a look at upyOS. First, we can do an ls. Or we can do an ls-l. So let's cd into home. We created home by doing mkdir. And we put several of our test programs into this. Let's touch a file. All right, let's rename it. Notice the file has a date of January 1st, and that's because we have it connected to Wi-Fi to set the date. Let's do that. Now we have dates. When we started up our web service, let's open it now. Use the website. We previously entered an account and password. There's several things you can do in the web server as it currently stands. You can see a status of the current services. You can select the GPIO page and turn on and off certain pins. And you can edit the files. So for example, earlier we edited test.txt. Here we have a full screen editor. When we're done, we just save it. We can also close it. We can go back. Here's the file, the previous save date, and here's the current date. We can cat it out. It has all the lines that we've entered. As mentioned earlier, we copied our programs to the system. And you can just copy a Python program and run it, but there's another feature that the upyOS provides, and that's process status. So if I type process status right now, you see there's nothing running except for the command that we just entered. But let's say we want to run one of our GUI programs. Okay, we can run it in the standard Linux way, which is a program and an ampersand which pushes it into the background. And we can see that we're back to the operating system. But now we can type PS, and we could see our program, test show memory. And it's actually a GUI program, which I'll show you in a minute. As you can see, we could show and see what programs are currently running, and we could kill it if we needed to. And now we can easily run another program. In the past, we had to reset the system in order to do that. But here, pushing it into another thread makes it a lot cleaner. Okay, let's get back into the program. We can CD to the home directory, do an ls. Now we can run one of our LVGL programs. So we're going to run test_button, and we changed the name slightly to from button 3 to button 4. That's because we added a few features to make it to run it in the background on our operating system. So here we've posted it as process 15, but you can see it's running. We can interact with our screen, press buttons, so forth. But meanwhile, it's all in the background. We can type in PS, which is the process status, and we can see there's our program. And we can kill it. Instead of resetting the entire microcontroller as we've done on Thony in the past, we're running the program as a process, and we'll push it into the background as well. It's now process 19. No worries. You can just go back and restart the program. And redo we can just go back and redo the command, and there it is. It seems like it's even running faster. So it's printed out. It's displaying all those colors on our screen, and we can interact with it. All right, that's it. Well, we hope you found this presentation helpful. Hopefully you can now use the new upyOS in your next project. Thank you for listening.